Hello, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel, and today's video is part 2 of all of the books that I want to read in 2022. Part 1 of this video went up the other day and I will leave it linked in a card up around the top of the screen. In that video, I talked about all of the books that I wanted to finish in 2022, and this is the video where I talk about all of the sequels that I want to finish and or catch up to in 2022. Because I feel like I've fallen behind on a lot of series, and that is something that I want to change. I feel like one of the reasons why I got into reading in the first place was just because of like all of these series that were out there, and I feel like I've really stopped prioritizing that recently. That's something that I definitely do want to try to change this year. Will it actually happen? I don't know. This was also a goal of mine back in 2021, and I think I read like 2 sequels total, maybe. So for this video, we're going to start with like the sequels that I own, and then we're going to talk about a couple that I don't own yet. We're going to start off with Any Way the Wind Blows by Rowell. So this is the 3rd book in the Carry On, is that what it's called? What? Simon Snow trilogy. It's the Simon Snow trilogy. Book 1 is Carry On, and book 2 is Wayward Son. I'm going to do one of these. Yeah, okay. So this follows our main character Simon, who is the chosen one, but things aren't going well in that area. His roommate at school is his nemesis, however, as their last year at school begins, this person does not show up. So I read Carry On back when I was like 15, and I cannot believe how long it's been since then. It's been like 6 years since I've read Carry On. The first time. I've read it again since then, but the first time I was 15. And it was just everything to me back then, and to an extent, I think I still do and will always have just like this really extreme attachment to this series. And that book especially, that is the case for. I was so excited when it got announced for a trilogy, and although I enjoyed Wayward Son, I definitely did not love it nearly as much as the original, which I think is the main reason as to why I've been kind of putting this one off. I will say the reviews for this one do seem higher than they were for book 2. It's not that I'm necessarily scared that I won't like it, because I know I will, because how could I really not at this point? I'm mostly just scared of being disappointed again, and let's face it, even though I wasn't expecting this trilogy, I don't want it to end now because I've grown just so much more attached to these characters and this romance than I was maybe even before, which is kind of saying something. I also really don't like the way book 2 left off, so I am especially interested in reading through that part and getting to a point where I feel happy with this series again. So next up we have a graphic novel, and that is Teen Titans Beast Boy, which is the 2nd book in the Teen Titans graphic novel series. The first book is Raven. This is actually one of my favorite graphic novels, and so far it's just been this and Heartstopper that I've like really loved. So hopefully this one, I think it has a good chance, but I hope to add it to that list hopefully soon, or whenever I add it, or if it gets added at all. So this one follows Garfield Logan, who is fixated on finding a way to impress the chosen ones, who are like the elite social group at his school. And yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just like an origin story type thing. Going back to my childhood nostalgia, I've loved the Teen Titans for what feels like forever now, and I'm so excited to see this take on Beast Boy, and then also whatever this author or this graphic novel series does after this. I do know there's another one out right now. I saw it the other day. The cover looks really cute, and that's just another incentive for me to go ahead and pick this one up. Okay, so next we have Blood and Honey by Shelby Mahurin, and this is the sequel to Serpent and Dove. So Serpent and Dove follows our main character after she flees her coven and takes shelter in a city where witches like her are hunted and burned. This also follows our other main character, who is sworn to the church and lives by a principle that he should never allow a witch to live. Our main character's paths should have never crossed, however due to certain circumstances, the two of them are forced to marry. Serpent and Dove is like some of the most fun I think I've ever had while reading, and I really love the romance and the characters and also just like the atmosphere of it. But I think the biggest thing that keeps like drawing me towards this series is that more like comedic and crazy and chaotic aspect of it. And I've been meaning to continue on with this for a while now, and I even do have the final book because I know I'm already going to want to finish this series. This was a series that I was planning to keep up with as it was coming out, and I do think I bought this around the time of release. Then I realized I waited too long, so that didn't happen. But on the bright side, I do get to binge read it now if maybe these are pretty thick and the third one's like even thicker. But yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting back into this. I'm hoping to still have the same level of feels for the couple that I used to. I really think I will. And I also I'm looking forward to just whatever time this wants to give me. I'm assuming it's going to be a great time, and I'm assuming it's going to be a lot of fun, and hopefully it will be. So next I have another graphic novel, and it's volume 2 of Heartstopper, which is the sequel to volume 1 of Heartstopper. So this story follows our main character, who's like an openly gay high school student who's kind of like the overthinking type. And then this also follows our other main character, who is more of a cheerful and soft-hearted rugby player. These two become friends fairly quickly, and our main character is falling hard for this rugby player but isn't sure if he has a chance. So volume 1 was something that kind of surprised me. Like, it didn't surprise me in a sense because it gets like a lot of hype and a lot of attention and a lot of love, and I just see it everywhere. But I was genuinely really surprised by just how much it grabbed me and like played with my heart. And it kind of changed the way that I look at graphic novels in a sense, since Raven was really the only other graphic novel that like I had like a 5-star range type of time with. And like I've had other graphic novels that I've enjoyed, and even Raven to an extent. I don't really think it's to the level that Heartstopper got me. But this has definitely set a brand new standard for me when it comes to graphic novels. I just really need to know where this story goes and just have my heart played with all over again. And then I also do need to get my hands on the volumes that come after this. I'm not really doing book hauls right now, and it's kind of high up on the list of the stuff that I want to make exceptions for. But we'll see, because I need to catch up or finish or wherever the series is at. Next we have the Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy, and then also the novella, which I forgot to grab. I'm back, here it is, and these are the sequels to this one, which is The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue. The Gentleman's Guide follows our main character who is on his grand tour of Europe, where his quest for pleasure and vice is in danger. After the tour is over, he will be forced into taking over his family's estate and following all of the responsibilities that comes with. Therefore, he is determined to make the most out of this year-long tour with his sister and childhood friend slash crush. But his recklessness turns the trip into a manhunt across Europe. I read Gentleman's Guide a couple of years ago now, and I really enjoyed it and just had a lot of fun with it. And I bought this one around the same time as I bought that one, and I planned to read it, but I kind of just let it sit around because I thought it was a spin-off. But little did I know, I'm pretty sure this is like a trilogy series, and book 3's out now. I don't own it because like I'm very far away from getting to that point, I think. This one does focus more on the sister whose name is Felicity, and I'm really interested in getting to know her more. Otherwise, I honestly don't really know what's going on with this series or really what to expect from it. So I'm mostly just curious in that regard, and I'm excited to catch up and just see what's going on. Next we have The Empire of Gold by S.A. Chakraborty, which is the sequel to The Kingdom of Copper, which is back there, which is the sequel to The City of Brass. So The City of Brass follows our main character who accidentally summons a djinn during her con, and this forces her to come to terms with the fact that magic is actually real even if she didn't want to believe in it beforehand. It has taken me forever to get to this book, and I'm not even quite there yet. I have less than 100 pages of The Kingdom of Copper, so I will be here very soon. But while I was reading like the last 200 pages, and I do plan to get it done very soon because I can't keep myself like away from it any longer, especially at the part I stopped at, I just realized how attached and how much I've really grown to love these characters and how much I just want them to be safe and happy. I know I say all the time how invested I am in this series and the world and the characters, and that is true, but I think I underestimated, or maybe I was just lying to myself, about how much I do truly care about these characters, which I feel like this is something that keeps me reading and invested in the story more than I gave it credit for. I'm also at the point in the Kingdom of Copper where I'm like, okay, I want to finish this and just go directly into this one. Which I'm scared of finishing this series to a certain extent because of what I think it has the potential to do to me depending on where things go. Because I really think they could just absolutely destroy me, crush my heart and soul with just how invested I've gotten at this point. This is a series that makes me want to read not only all of this all the time, but it also just makes me want to read more books in general. And I know I'll be sad when it's over and I don't have anything left, but I know I will just absolutely love the entire journey this trilogy has taken me on. It's well on its way to becoming one of my favorite trilogies ever, which I don't think I've finished that many trilogies, but as far as like the ones that I have, this one is definitely up there. I can't imagine it letting me down at this point, although I do think it could in like a crush my heart type of way, but I feel like I'll at least respect that if that happens. I also do want to do a review where I just talk about like all three of these books as one and together. I don't know when that video will be coming because this honestly feels like a brick, which in this case I do love because it's more of this story, but I do doubt that I will be finishing it anytime soon because this is going to take me a good amount of time to read. Okay, so I do have 2 more books left for this video, and these are the 2 that I don't own yet, but it's for different reasons, but we'll get into that. Also, my editor doesn't let me put pictures like up on the screen for some reason, so I'm just gonna like hold the respective book ones up. So first up we have the Raybearer sequel. I believe it's called Redemptor by Jordan Ifueko. Raybearer is a West African fantasy that follows our main character Piracy, who has been raised in isolation by her mother, who was often absent during her childhood. When she reaches the right age, her mother sends her to the capital to compete with other children for a spot on the Crown Prince's Council. Each council member gets connected to the others through the Ray, which creates a very deep bond between all of the members. This is a closeness that our main character craves. However, her mother made a wish for her to kill the Crown Prince, and that she is being compelled to obey this wish. So this was just absolutely one of my favorite books that I read in 2021, and I also do have a whole reading vlog for it. I just finished it maybe a month ago by the time this video comes out, so I haven't gotten my hands on the sequel just yet because I haven't been doing book hauls, and that's not for lack of trying either. I walked into a store the other day with all the intention in the world to just walk out with the sequel for this, and I didn't find it, but hopefully I find it sooner rather than later. I am just really invested in the story. I love the characters and I just respect the way the author put everything together. And there's just so much in here that I find to be so interesting. So many plot points and aspects about the world and the characters. And that is especially the case for where this one left off and kind of set up for where I think book 2 is going to go. And I am so excited for that. I think it's going to be so interesting, and I'm curious to see how it goes. And I do just want to be back into the series as soon as possible. I just need to get my hands on the sequel first. I might just do an online order. I don't know. I don't really feel like waiting for it, but then I'm waiting for it anyway if I can't find it. So next I have the sequel to Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. I don't know the title of it. I forgot to look it up. So the sequel is entitled Fevered Star, but Black Sun is inspired by the civilizations of the pre-Columbian Americas. It takes place in a city called Tova around the time of the winter solstice, which is usually a time for celebration and renewal. Or it would be, but this year the solstice is around the same time as a solar eclipse, which according to the sun priest signifies an unbalancing of the world. At the same time, a ship begins its adventure towards Tova, carrying a seemingly harmless passenger, but the captain has her suspicions of him. Okay, so this was also one of my top books that I read in 2021. I'm like fully sucked into and invested in this story in a way that kind of surprised me, honestly, because I liked Trail of Lightning by this author, but not nearly this much. It's just a book that I was constantly wanting to pick up and read, and I was just thinking about it a lot when I had it put down. And again, it was just one of those books that made me excited to read again. At the time I'm filming this, the sequel actually isn't out yet. I think there's still a couple of months, which I've always said, like, it's not that long. I don't have to wait that long for it. As the days go by, I'm definitely feeling that wait more, which I guess waiting is part of the fun. But I will definitely be picking that up as soon as I get my hands on it because I really want to know where this goes. So that is all I have for today's video. Part 3 will hopefully be out soon. It's just going to be like the more random books that have caught my eye that I want to read in 2022. I keep forgetting what year it is. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that. And hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!